Hello, BookTube. It's Tuesday, and that means Tag Tuesday on BookTube. I almost completely forgot about it. I've been a bit swamped with work today, just a bit. I am still just a bit swamped with work, hence my overwhelming desire to have a Steve stream, which is just purely irresponsible on my part. I am rather swamped with work. It'll all be gone. I'll get it done. But that's no excuse not to do a tag, right? Even though I am persona non grata, a leper, a pariah in the BookTube community, and am never tagged or mentioned, referenced, or included by anybody in anything. You can have a live stream event, you can have a group read, or anything like that, including Steve. No, you're not going to do that. But James Holder, bless his heart, did a tag and tagged me. So it's the New Year's book tag, the 2023 edition. And it was created by the Bookables, and it's got a few questions. I'm going to dodge the last one. So let's start with question number one. How many books are you planning to read in 2023? So we start off right away with a problem, especially for you new viewers. The channel has some new people who've just found me, just subscribed. Very happy to have you along. But I am perfectly willing to admit that there are certain aspects of this channel that are not readily believable. I'm perfectly willing to admit that. I'm not putting any great stakes on it. It's no skin off my nose no matter what. It's no skin off my nose if you choose to not to believe those things. The only way it's a problem to me is if you call me a liar to my face. That is different. What you decide in your privacy of your own heart to do is totally up to you. I'd like to think that I amply demonstrate the claims that I make, but foremost in a book-related situation is how many books I read in a year, how much I read, just in general. Now, in my life, before and after BookTube, there are groups of people, there are subsets of people. The large subset of people doesn't care, one way or another. They never know the answer to this question or its dimensions, and they never care, and they wouldn't care if they did know. Then there's a smaller subgroup that I treasure. I absolutely love them, where they are secure enough in themselves, secure enough in their own reading, so that they look at how much I read with a kind of friendly mockery, which is pretty much the best that I can ask for. I am certainly not saying that how much or how fast I read is any reflection on how good a reader I am, or how morally or personally superior I am to you. My bee-sting lips, my wavy blue-black hair, and my 8-pack abs are what make me superior to you. Okay? Not my reading. So there's a subset of people that look at that elephant in the room number and just say, well, he doesn't do anything else all day, and he's been doing this at a breakneck pace for longer than I've been alive, so those muscles are in really good shape, so it's freakish. So what? It doesn't affect me. In fact, a number of friends who've been critics or editors have realized that once they got past the friendly mockery stage, that might actually help them. The freakishness might actually help them. It might actually be a nice, easy chair that they could relax into when they are behind in their own reading. That subset I treasure. And I've noticed that the sharpest, most active, most energetic, most enthusiastic readers that I know are almost always part of that subset. I almost never have to worry about it with them. I almost never have to care that they're going to be part of either of the other two subsets that I mentioned, one that I mentioned, the other one that I'm going to mention. There are two other subsets, and I almost never have to worry that they're going to be part of either one of those. They're going to fall in the middle. They're going to say, oh, that's freakish, but it's obviously true. It's just weird, that's all, and then think nothing more of it. And then there's the third subset, who take it as some sort of personal attack or challenge of some kind. I don't have any idea where that comes from. I assume it comes, as I mentioned, from reading insecurity. But there's a small subset of people who like to be very vocal about simply not believing me, and not just not believing me in the privacy of their own hearts, but telling me that I'm lying, that I don't read a whole lot, that I don't read anything like what I say I do, that I have chosen the weirdest subject in the world to tell not just a lie about, but a multi-thousand-part lie about, and not just a multi-thousand-part lie about, but a multi-thousand-part lie consistently over decades. I have never understood that subset. They do exist. I might add, just as a tiny plea here, I know that people that belong in that little subset probably aren't watching this video, and the people that belong in that little subset don't listen to tiny little pleas anyway, but if you are in that subset, I would add a little plea here. Kindly exercise the goddamn common courtesy that your mother and grandmother taught you, and don't simply call a total stranger a liar to his face. Okay? It doesn't matter to me if you believe me. Just don't insult me in my own comments. That would be great. But it's the middle group there, the middle subset of people who just say, I read, but I do a lot less of it than you do. I've got lots of other things going on in my life, so I'll just roll with it. It doesn't attack me at all one way or another. I concentrate on that subset. I try, like everybody else, like all the rest of us, I try not to think about the subset that doesn't care about reading at all. Even though that's 99.9% of the humans on Earth, and also my best friend. I try not to think about that larger subset. And I also try not to think about the smallest subset, the people who consider it some sort of personal attack. Oh, I don't believe you do that at all. I prefer to concentrate on the middle subset. It has never crossed Jason Harrigan's mind to feel attacked or threatened by how much I read. It's never crossed Britta's mind or Olive's mind or Mark Richardson's mind. It's never crossed their mind to think that way. And I assume also they look at 2 decades of detailed book reviewing and assume that probably means he's right. I've never actually heard him talk about a book when he didn't know it, when he didn't. Anyway, all of this is throat clearing for the answer to this horrifying first question, because the first question is, how many books are you planning on reading in 2023? And I admit it's an unbelievable number. I want to stress, I'm not gonna bother with the number. I want to stress that I don't do anything else, and that I do a lot of this. Those 2 things really do change the calculus. They really do. They changed it for me, and they would change it for you. And in addition to that, I do it a lot longer than you do. I do a lot less sleeping than you do. Half of you that are watching this video right now are kind of dreaming of going unconscious on the pillow. It's only 6:15. I can't really get away with that, can I? Maybe 3 more hours? 2 more hours, and then I get to go unconscious for 10 hours and drool on my pillow. Drool all over my face. I don't sacrifice those hours, so I get a lot of reading done. So if we want to ballpark how much reading I hope to get done in 2023, watch James Holder's video, listen to his answer to this question, take the upper framework of his own estimate of how many books he's going to read in 2023, and multiply it by 10. I have a goal number in mind, and it is 10 times the high number that James gives. So we'll just leave it at that. And I'm well on my way. I'm well on my way to doing that. Anyway, that took a long time for question number 1. They won't all take so long. Question number 2. Name 5 books you didn't get to this year that you want to make a priority in 2023. See, we're going to make up headwind already here, because the answer is zip, zero, none, nada. Question number 3. What genre do you want to read more of? I want to read more of all the genres that I like. I'm pretty sure in 2023 that I'm okay with not adding any target genres. I toyed with that last year. I read a lot of genres. I'm pretty okay with not adding any of them. I toyed briefly with motivational books or philosophy. Or what was the other one? Food writing. Not cookbooks, but food writing. I don't do a whole lot of any of those, but the major crossover efforts in those kinds of genres are going to come to me anyway. I'm going to strongly consider them anyway. I don't think that I'm deficient in how many genres that I give a shot to every year. I'm going to try to read the major new releases in 15 or 16 genres in the US book market in 2023. Not one or two representing that genre, but all of the major new releases in that genre. I'm going to try to do that in 2023, and I'm going to come closer than any other reader currently working in English. So I don't really feel that I need to add more genres or more types of books. So instead, the answer to this question, what genre do you want to read more of? As generic as the answer is, I want to read more of all of the genres. I only made two real editions in 2022. And I don't know that either one of them is presentable in respectable company. In 2022, I made inroads into a type of romance novel called twincest, in which strapping, weightlifting, gorgeous, identical twin brothers, Roger like bunnies, feel an erotic attraction to each other. I encountered a book like that because the Bookish Bryants led me into temptation with Autumn Amour, and once I read the book, I realized that it was the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, and that there's a huge subgenre of twincest novels. And I went a bit into that subgenre. And if I went a bit into that subgenre, that's nothing compared to how I did into another subgenre that the Bookish Bryants also degraded me into reading, which was Tentacle Romance. I read a short story of Tentacle Romance that was actually good. My introduction to Tentacle Romance in 2022 was a story that was actually pretty good. It was in an anthology. It was about two alien world explorers who are in love with each other. It had a huge amount of world building. The more I think about it, the more I'm impressed by the world building. You could have made a novel out of it. The Tentacle Romance part of the story was the least interesting and the least inventive part of the story, and it intrigued me. Because, as I put it in Autumn Amour, and it traumatized a couple of you, tentacles get everywhere. That story intrigued me, so I read a whole tentacle novel. Or actually, no, the novel came first. Accidentally in Love came first. And it also had boffo world building. Really good world building. A really interesting world. So that by the time I got to the obligatory tentacle romance scene, I was kind of, in this case, as in the normal number of appendages, I was kind of waiting for it to be over. No cracks about that being Irish Catholic sex, just in general. I was kind of waiting for it to be over. I kind of wanted the normal story to resume. The normal story was fascinating. But that was enough. Those two things were enough, the novel and the short story, to send me down the squid hole. And I read, I'm pretty sure, every piece of Tentacle Romance available in the Amazon book marketplace, all of which is self-published. I think I read pretty much all of it. I made editions like that in 2022. And in 2023, I'm wide open. But to, so to speak, oh God, this is just a nightmare. In 2023, I am open to those kinds of possibilities as well, but mainly as elaborations on genres that I already read. If there are other forbidden corners of romance, if I learn all sorts of new permutations of trash or westerns, because keep in mind, 2022 saw the inauguration of two great BookTube events, June on the Range and Garb August. Those didn't exist before last year. They feel absolutely permanent. They feel like they've existed on BookTube forever. And I learned a lot from both of those, in addition to having a lot of fun. Those and Autumn Amour and February Fantasy Stories. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of permutations on genres that I already read that I will encounter in 2023 and like. But I'm not going to add any genres. I'm okay with the genres that I do. Can we maybe extricate ourselves from this question? Let's just move on. Question number 4. Name 3 non-book related goals for 2023. Now, this is a bit of a problem as well because, and again, this is partly, this might be new information to some of you who are new to this channel. I am almost entirely a creature of books. I have the bean. I have my bossy little, hi baby, how's the squeak? I have my bossy little miniature schnauzer, and we spend all day, every day together. And anything she wants to do, we do. She wants to go out, we go out. She wants to play, we play. She wants to just talk and canoodle. We talk and canoodle. But other than that, a huge amount of my life has been contoured to be about books, to be book related. Like, for instance, when it comes to this prompt, one of the first things I thought was, well, I write a column every week. I write a 800-word column every week. Ex Libris is what it's called, and it runs in on Mark Richardson's library's website. It runs in Georgia. It runs in Iowa, and I automatically saw this and thought, well, I'd love it if it ran more places. I'd like that column to appear in more places, or maybe write a different column. Write a number of columns. I love writing columns. I've remembered how much I love doing that, but that's book related. The column is about books, so it's book related. And so are a lot of other things that I'm thinking of for this. So I'm instead going to rely on James Holder's own answers for 2 out of 3. One of his answers was that he wants to learn more recipes. He's gotten into cooking lately in a big way and wants to expand. I can definitely agree with that. I have wanted for a while to, I don't cook, but I do have a rice cooker, little $15 rice cooker, Condi. And right now, my use of I use it all the time, just all the time. It is the best $15 purchase I've ever made. But I'm very unadventurous, and I know that I don't need to be. It comes with a little plastic tray that you can sit on top of the steaming rice in order to steam vegetables. I never use it, and I could. There are all kinds. I have 2 ebooks on recipes for rice cookers. There are all kinds of vegetables stuff that I could do to make better meals in the same amount of time, make more interesting meals in the same amount of time. So that's number 1 for a non-bookish goal that I would like to have in 2023. And then another one that I would like to do is, the 2 others really fall under the heading of cleaning. One, I would like to clean Hyde Cottage, a really soup to nuts clean. I know that I don't need to. I know that I could hire somebody on Fiverr or TaskRabbit to do it in an hour and probably do a better job than I do. But I can technically do it all myself. It would just require a day to do. I'm talking everything. I'm talking corners, closets, bookcases, everything. Just completely clean. Probably I will wait and very stereotypically do that as spring cleaning. Probably I will. Although my guess from looking at long-range weather data is that January in Boston is going to feel like spring. That's my guess. It's going to be not just unseasonably warm, but warm. Just plain old warm for the whole of the month of December or January. But even so, I might wait on that. And the other cleaning, the third thing here that's technically non-book related, I had a tech apocalypse here at Hyde Cottage at the end of 2022, right at the end of 2022. A whole string of devices failed in one way or another. They didn't all become completely inoperative, but they all failed in one way or another. And one of those devices was an old, steady MacBook of mine, an old MacBook Pro that I have used so much. I'm not carping. I got an enormous amount of use out of that machine. Enormous. It's still in really good shape. But it started to have sound issues, really bad sound issues. So that, a lot of times when I'm using a MacBook, I'm also playing a video or BookTube, and it was getting unignorable. And so I shuttered it. I put a note on it reminding me what was wrong with it, and I shuttered it and put it away as I wanted to put all of the defective stuff away before I got angry with it. So I just put a note on what was wrong with it, closed it, and put it away. But now that I've calmed down, I'm remembering that MacBook has an enormous amount of stuff on it. So another kind of cleaning I would like to do is that I would like to take it out, charge it up, and begin the systematic process of exporting all kinds of stuff off it. It has 1,000 pictures. It has 10,000 documents and backup documents. It has all kinds of stuff on there that I need to get off that machine and onto some other machine or onto some sort of external memory of some kind or other. And that, the cleaning of Hyde Cottage will take a day. And that process will also take me probably an afternoon, a whole afternoon of doing nothing else, just concentrating on that. And I should do that. I should do that afternoon soon. In 2023, certainly, but soon in 2023, because the fact that the speakers are giving out on that things might mean that the whole thing is about ready to give out. And if it does, I'll lose all that stuff. So that's another non-book related. A lot of that stuff is book related, but a lot of it isn't. So we'll include those. Then prompt number 5 is, what's a book you've had forever that you still need to read? None, zero, zip, nada, zilch. I don't understand you people that sit on books without reading them like they were eggs that you're nesting on. We're not ready yet. I don't understand that. I have books that I haven't read yet. They're all forthcoming releases. All the rest of them, no. Then let's see here. Prompt number 6 is one word describing 2023. Now, when James Holder did this, he used a word to describe 2023 so far. 2023 is only 10 days old at the time when I'm doing this tag. Nevertheless, I'm going to use a word that I'm thinking is going to describe all of 2023. And we'll see if I'm wrong. And that word, unfortunately, is disastrous. Personally, professionally, economically, ecologically, politically, disastrous. Not every year strikes me that way, but this one strikes me that it is out for blood and means business. Considering that California is currently underwater, I think I might not be wrong about that. I hope I am, but that's my one word, is disastrous. And then the last prompt is to tag some people. Now, James Holder said that he tagged everybody, but he named me specifically, and I want to do the same thing. I want to tag everybody. I want to hear all your answers to these questions, because we're right at the beginning of the new year, and no matter how all of our situations are different, we all have that in common. We are all poised on the brink of the future of the year 2023. We're all together. We're all poised together. We can help each other, but we all have that in common. We're in the same boat. So I would love to hear your answers to these questions. But that's it. That is a tag for Tag Tuesday. So I'm gonna wrap this up before I lose all of what little light I have. But I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.